Hi, this is Tommy coming at you from beautiful Cape Cod. Tommy, aka Nana. It's been a while, but I am going to be making this morning a peanut butter sweetener-free granola. Actually, it's going to be a mixed nut butter, and this is going to make 6 weight loss servings, but I'm going to go ahead and make a double batch. So I'm going to make 12 servings that have one protein. Well, they actually have 3/4 of a protein. Wait a minute. Yeah, so they have a half a protein serving in them. And then I'll use my my soy yogurt, my homemade soy yogurt. So they have a half a protein serving in them, which is nuts and seeds, and then they have your grain in them and some spices. So I think this is pretty easy. I know it's not for everybody. Not everybody feels like they can do recipes and things like this, but this is pretty easy, and I find it very tasty, especially in the summer months when I'm picking berries and that kind of thing is going on. So I'm getting out a bowl, and I am going to get out my oats. And yeah, so I guess I can use this scale. So I'm gonna, let me see if I can push this down a little bit. So I've got them on the scale, got the scale right there, and I'm gonna be using extra thick oats. Yeah, I'm going to use organic, extra thick, gluten-free oats, just because I find it's a little more substantial. And so yeah, I have my oven preheated to 300 degrees. I have my cookie sheets lined with parchment paper, and I'm gonna make sure there's nothing in this pan. And I'm gonna measure out the 12 ounces of oats. So that's almost a pound. And then I have a new bag here. I tend to have like oat bran, quick oats, and extra thick, and steel cut oats, and then oat oats on hand. I don't have regular old oats around anymore because I don't tend to use them. So here I am, I'm going to measure 12 ounces. There, 12 ounces. And then I am going to put in, I'm definitely going to use some cinnamon in this. And I am going to use some nutmeg, which I have this handy dandy little grinder thing, so my nutmeg is actually in here, so it kind of grinds it for me. It's kind of neat. And then I'm going to use 6 ounces of mixed nut butter. might use some peanut butter too. And then this recipe came from Katie's Bright Kitchen, which I guess it's not available anymore, but I can put the recipe in the thing, although it's so simple. For 6 servings, 3 ounces of peanut butter or nut butter, 3 ounces of nuts or seeds, pumpkin seeds. I'm going to do pumpkin seeds and some flax. No, I'm not going to do flax seeds. I'm going to do pumpkin seeds and maybe some walnuts. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm using this mixed nut butter. So I'm going to put the nut butter in. So it's 6 ounces of nut butter. It's definitely fruit fly season where I live, so it's like fighting with the fruit flies. Okay, so I'm zeroing it out, and I'm going to put 6 ounces. This is a mixed nut butter, which it has, I think, like almond and flax. What else does it have in it? Almonds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, and flax seeds. So that in itself kind of diversifies the nuts that are in here. That was 3 ounces. So I'm going to add another 3. I probably will add peanut butter because the or whatever I get out of this jar, because I don't want to have to spend the time mixing the mixed nut butter. It always takes about 5 minutes to mix, right? So yeah, this, I love this because it really does put a diversity of nuts in. And I use this mainly for my baked goods. I don't tend to eat it, so it's for baking. So that's a plus if you have an issue with nut butter, is having this on hand. Unless you do like it, you know, I'm not going to want to eat this, so having it on hand for baking is a good thing. So in this part, I always think of like a craft. So I'm not going to lick my hands. I'm just going to, you know, act like it was glue or something and put it in the sink to wash later. So I've got 5.6, so I just need 1/4 ounce. I'm hoping 0.9. Let's see. There, 6.0. Let's see. I know it just went over. So I'm gonna see what I can get, just a little bit more in there. And then they actually suggest that you you go ahead and mix this with your hands. Although I'm gonna mix it with something else for a while first. So finish off that pan. Just wipe up my hands a little bit. And then I'm going to get some pumpkin seeds and some walnuts. The walnuts I'm just going to break up a little bit. Unless, of course, I'm going to check in my cupboard. I think I might have some pecans that need to be used. Oh, yeah. Yep, I'm going to use these pecans that I have because so I'm just going to break them up. And yeah, I just find this like such a tasty thing to have. I actually used to have a granola business that was regular granola, and so granola is just something that I really enjoy. And so I suppose I could just bake the goats and, you know, not do all this, but I find that I really enjoy this, and it's just this little bit that I have, like, because the last time, so I weigh the whole thing and divide it into portions at the end, and the last time I did it, it was 1.9 ounces, and I just kept the whole thing in a jar, and I would add 1.9 ounces to the top of my yogurt and berries, and it was just so tasty. So that's my thinking for this time. And you know, we're at the last day of July today. I don't know if I'm going to get this posted by then, but you know, I just want to enjoy the summer. I want something quick and easy. I'm actually getting warm, so I'm going to end up taking off my sweatshirt in a second. So yeah, I'm going to add these. I should have thought of chopping these up a little bit beforehand, but I didn't. And then I'm going to add some pumpkin seeds and mix it together, stick it in the oven, and yeah, I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to add 3 ounces of pumpkin seeds to this. There we go. So I'll just use this organic pumpkin seed. Some of the things I'm using are organic, some of the things are not. And then I'm going to start adding some spices in. So I'm going to put some nutmeg in here. She doesn't have you add any spices in, but I just love having some spice. So you see this just, I don't know if you can even see it's falling down, but it just acts like that. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of salt in there. And then I'm going to put a couple teaspoons of cinnamon in here. And I'm going to add just a little bit of ginger too. Sorry, reaching across here. Just a little. Yeah, this is probably the equivalent of 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. Just because I like that kind of, I don't know, pumpkin spice kind of thing going on. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to, you know, mix it for a little while. And you see I'm just kind of doing this, and then eventually I will probably use my hands because it is kind of the thoroughest way. And again, I will just wash my hands right afterwards. But I'm going to start this way. And because I want every bit of the goodness that's in here, I'm gonna make sure I scrape off like all of this, because yeah, I don't want to lose any of it. And then I'll come back in a minute and show you what it looks like all mixed. Well, let me just mix it with my hands for a little while and see. So yeah, so it's just kind of a squeezing, and it's almost like a kneading. Ah, shoot. Don't have a big enough bowl. Yeah, so I'm just kind of kneading it, rubbing it between my fingers, and whenever you think it's done, do it a little bit longer. And then the trick is, it says bake for up to 20 minutes. I bake it longer than that. This recipe says that. I just keep baking it until it looks like it's starting to turn just a little bit brown, and you don't, it's at a low temperature. You want to check it after 20 minutes. And I know there's two schools of thought when you're making granola, and that is, do you want to like stir it all the time, which you can, and it's a lot of work, and you're sticking your head in the oven, and in summertime I don't want to do that. Or you can just let it sit. I'm of the client, having made granola for so long, I didn't find that there was that much of a difference if I stirred it all the time. So I'm gonna be kind of conservative, and I'm just gonna check it after 20 minutes. And it just depends. I mean, some people, you could make this you could eat this just as it is, and it'd be more like a muesli. But I'm gonna yeah, put it in there, and after 20 minutes I'll look at it. I may stir it a little then, and then I'll put it back in. And I'll come back on and tell you and show you the finished product, and tell you how long I ended up cooking this batch. But you certainly don't want to burn it, don't want to go away and leave it for an hour or something like that. Although I like mine crispy, so because it's a low temperature, I wouldn't be surprised if I have it in for at least 40 minutes. And maybe that's because I'm using the thicker rolled oats. I don't know exactly why, but that's probably what I'm going to do. So, I'll see you in a bit. I forgot that I wanted to show you, so here's my cookie sheets, and this is basically what it looks like finished. And I'm just gonna, pour it out and try to have it evenly dispersed there, and just, these parchment papers can tend to roll around a little bit. Yeah, so it just, like you see, I just kind of have it cut it out here. Again, I don't think it's going to need to be stirred all the time. If you feel more comfortable stirring yours every 3 to 5 minutes, you go right ahead and do that. Again, my hands had all the goodness on, and I'm just going to stick this in a 300-degree oven, and I will check mine in 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, I will definitely rotate my pans because I have them on 2 shelves, and I will come back and show it to you. Thanks. Okay, so there's the timer for 20 minutes. I going to take it out and show you what I think it looks like and decide whether or not I'm going to stir it. So there it is. To me, I'm going to stick it back in for another maybe 10 minutes. And yeah, so here's the other one. Oops. Don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to just switch them, turn them around and switch where they are in the oven, and I'm going to do them for another 10 minutes. And then I'll show them to you again, and I'll cool them, and yeah. And then I'm just going to probably store them in a mason jar of some kind after they've totally cooled. So they'll be sitting here for a long time. And, you know, I'll weigh the entire portion, divide it by 12, and determine that's what I'm going to have as a serving. Pretty easy peasy. I have peace about it, so see you later. Okay, the timer has gone off. I think I'm gonna just turn off the oven, turn off the fan so it's not quite so noisy. And even if I decide to put them back in, I'm just gonna, yeah, I think I'm gonna put them back in because I don't see them getting over brown. I'm gonna put them back in and leave them in the oven as it's cooling. And again, that's it. So I did it for 20 minutes, then I turned off the oven. I'm going to leave it in there until it finishes cooling, and then I'm going to weigh it all and store it in mason jar and enjoy it for at least 12 breakfast servings. Although I could also eat it, because I do the McDougall Bright Line Eating Plan. I could also enjoy it for lunch. So I'm a Bright Line eater. I eat no sugar, no flour, only 4 meals a day, no snacking, and I weigh and measure my food. But this is also a recipe that anybody can enjoy that just wants no sugar variety of granola or topping for their yogurt in the morning. It's a totally plant-based vegan granola. So thanks for coming to my channel and watching this. Please like, subscribe, share it. Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful, bright day.